Morning, guys. Some coffee with a little light shamanism on the side. No big deal. I was thinking about how we can work with the light and the dark. Dark, right? What about goddesses like Lilith or Hecate? If you're dealing with some sort of persistent energy in your life, and it can come through the form of a person, like if somebody continues to text you, or you just continue to, it's like thought projections. Like, you can't get them off your mind. And if you want to take the spirituality out of it, which I'm sure a lot of you don't because you're here, but just for those who are more on the logical side, I'm going to say this. The same thing comes up in studies of narcissistic abuse, which I've done a lot of study on, probably about 3 years of study because of my own life. And something that I learned from many different sources is this one thing and I'm not trying to be morose, but if you dealt with narcissistic abuse, especially if it was a parent or, somebody that you grew up with, not just like an ex, if it was a family member or a mentor of some kind that was consistent in your life, even if they die, they can still, it's like they become part of your brain. They become part of you. That's why I am employing any and all resources, right? I hit this stuff from the spiritual side, and I hit this stuff from the logical side of things, because it gets both sides of the self. We could call it the feminine and the masculine. I'm not really going to call it that today. I'm going to call it more the spiritual and the logical. If you're dealing with consistent, persistent thoughts of a particular person, or certain memories keep flooding to you, this is my advice. First of all, I would push that back, use your energy. If any of you are familiar with Reiki, push back that energy, and as you're pushing it back, return to sender. Don't let that just continue. Don't let it continue to harass you and harass you and harass you. We have Venus retrograde right now as well, and this is not just about exes. This could be family members, this could be friends, this could be ex-coworkers that are pissed that you got a new job and you left them behind. You know what I'm saying? So we just employ everything we can to rid ourselves of that, right? We're not a slave to anything. We are creators. We are powerful beings of light. Many of us are light workers here. So I just want to take a couple minutes today to encourage anybody, especially with all the retrogrades that we're experiencing right now, whether you're into astrology or not, just know the energies are funky right now, and whether you follow astrology or not, which a lot of you probably do, whether you do or not, though, is not the point. It's just the world's fucking crazy. It's not really about retrogrades or sage or mugwort or narcissistic abuse. It's psychology versus spiritual thought and whatever. People can get on thousands of hours of arguments. Where I came from, because I was a minister for 10 years especially, I'm somebody that believes that many different schools of thought have many different things to offer. So why not employ them all? Let's use all of our resources. Let's gather all of our army together, and let's overcome this stuff. We are not slaves to these incessant energies that do not want to see us ascend, that do not want to see us rise, that do not want to see us succeed. Enough. It's not about convincing anybody of your worth. If they can't see your worth, they can't see their own worth, and that's the problem. You can't convince somebody else of their own worth either. So for us empaths that stick around in toxic situations because we think we can heal people, let me just say this as well. And I'm not trying to be offensive, because I'm this. I'm saying it to myself as much as I'm saying it to you. Empath, narcissists are two sides of the same coin. They're polarities. But they are the same coin. We both play a role. We both do the dance. You know, when couples go to couples counseling and they're having a problem in their marriage, you know, it takes two to tango. It's like, yeah, but he did this and she did that and they cheated on me and they drank a lot. It's like, maybe we should separate from those people, right? And I'm not saying if you're considering getting a divorce or not. I'm saying it metaphorically. I'm saying, why do we try to consistently fix things that are, and I'm going to get spiritual with it, are probably karmic lessons, right? So if the point is to learn the lesson, and yet we continue to stay in it for maybe lifetimes for some of us, we're not learning the lesson. So back to my original point, not trying to get too deep into it, back to my original point. We are not slaves of toxic environments, energies, people, jobs. We are not victims. We are creators. We are powerful. We are sorcerers, many of us. We are master magicians and manifestors that can create our own worlds. We can reinvent ourselves. We can become something different entirely. You are not stuck to this one persona. Even your personality can change. Maybe that's controversial. Oh, what, you think I have a bad personality? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, take me for example. I'm online, right? I just heard the other day that somebody said that only people from the East Coast say online. Let me know. If you guys are from like the West Coast, do you say online? I didn't know that. But anyways, I'm doing lots of stuff on social media all the time. It would help me to be funnier and more captivating. Instead of taking that as an insult to myself, like, well, my personality sucks. It's like, it's all how you look at stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I could go on many different tangents with what I'm saying, but in the negative, if you're dealing with negative energy, take control, take it by the, you know what I'm saying? Or grab your own and take control of your life. Be an emperor, be an empress, male, female, non-binary, however you identify. Nobody is stuck. Nobody is a victim. In fact, if you've been a victim, you probably most likely have more emotional intelligence than the average person to begin with. So we can even take our most gruesome, most terrible, most dark events of our lives and squeeze that for all it's worth, for all we can possibly get out of it, and use that, transmute that energy. And this is taking it into the positive and use it. Because most likely you have more wisdom than most people do because of what you've gone through. And instead of letting the situation have the power, top that shit. Take the situation and top it. Okay, yeah, maybe I was in that situation, but now what I'm gonna do, oh, I was in a narcissistic, abusive relationship with my ex for 7 years. I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna travel the country and talk about it. I'm gonna help people. Instead of like just getting into another narcissistic relationship with the next asshole that you meet at the bar. It's like, let's take control of our lives, right? Today. Not when we're more prepared to do it. It's like, I'm tired today. But I was like dealing with so many thoughts were coming to me that when I was in the shower, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like I was so overwhelmed. All these memories were flashing. All these thoughts, all these people's faces were flashing into my mind. And I'm pretty intuitive anyways, but more than usual. And it's like, I was just like, all right, that's it. I'm going to go out on my balcony. I'm going to get my freaking sage and my mugwort and get my journal and get my cards and go out there with my coffee. And I am going to take control of my day. This is my day. This is my body. This is my space. This is my life. Return to sender, return to sender, return to sender. And sometimes you have to be violent about it. It's not like, return to sender, just return it. It's like, no, return that shit. And if it's getting really bad, I would say times 7, lovingly.